Braves fan, but I've converted him. He's now a Phillies fan. Ah, marriage, is a little stronger of a pull. Uh-huh. It's not enough, huh? Aw. Where did you guys go on your cruise? Nice. As an introvert, I don't understand vacationing with other people because then I still have to talk. Yeah. My husband is perfectly fine with letting me just be, but I feel like everybody else wants me to talk. Yeah, exactly. Do nothing. That's the point of vacation. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, they've been changing the spring break times. Right, right. Oh my God. Too much, too much. Mm. Yeah, we go to Florida on Thursday, so I'm counting down for our spring break. Very. My parents have a timeshare in Ormond Beach, so it's like Daytona area. So be very nice. Oh, Mims. Okay. Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah. We're flying this time. Normally we drive, but we found some really cheap tickets out of Wilmington, so sparing us the overnight drive. So yeah, yeah. So it's a week, so we're off the week before Easter, but my brother and my nieces are off this week. So we're overlapping for a long weekend. So we're pulling them out of, they get to skip school Friday. So we're gonna get to add an extra day. So anyway, good morning, ladies. Welcome to Spirit and Truth Yoga. Today we're going to focus on Psalm 130. And so as you begin, if you want to choose a grounding pose that's comfortable for you, you can come to lie on your back. You can stay seated if you prefer. You can come into maybe a child's pose. Um, if you want to focus on your hips today, you could send your knees wide and keep your big toes together. Or bringing the knees together will help focus on the low back. You can also come all the way onto your belly. So even as we begin, listening to your body. If you start somewhere that you just decide's not right for you, maybe change. And throughout the practice, listening to your body. I am merely your guide. So doing what's going to work for you to help you to really slow down. Our goal throughout the practice today is to just be. So as you've chosen your grounding pose, maybe starting off by taking a deep cleansing breath, just welcoming yourself to your mat. And then settling into a nice easy breath. Breathing in and out of the nose if possible, cutting off mouth breathing. Noticing the cool air hitting your nose and throat, following that cool air all the way down to the low belly. Then noticing how the body warms that air as that warm air journeys up out of the body, leaving through your nose. Doing a little body scan, noticing any parts of the body that may feel stiff, seeing if you can direct your breath there. Letting the ground completely support you in this grounding pose, removing all effort. Noticing your mind, the state in which you came into the room, and with a deep breath, letting it go without any kind of judgment, embracing a new moment on your mat. I'm going to read through some verses of Psalm 130 two times. And as I read, noticing what sticks out to you, maybe an intention or an image for your practice that you can hold in your mind or come back to throughout your practice. Psalm 130. I wait for the Lord. My whole being waits. And in his word I put my hope. I wait for the Lord. More than watchmen wait for the morning. More than watchmen wait for the morning. I hope in the Lord, for with the Lord is unfailing love. Psalm 130. I wait for the Lord. My whole being waits. And in his word I put my hope. I wait for the Lord. More than watchmen wait for the morning. More than watchmen wait for the morning. I hope in the Lord, for with the Lord is unfailing love. So, taking a few rounds of breath just to hold in your mind one idea, image, or thought that stuck out to you. If you're not already in a crocodile pose all the way on your belly, you can just flip over where you are, resting your forehead on your forearms. And we're just going to start by waking up the low back. So lifting the heels as we bend the knees. Inhale at the center. Exhale both of your feet to the right. Slowly inhaling across to the left and allowing the length of your breath to dictate how long you move. So as you begin to inhale, you move to one side, and when you run out of breath, you begin to exhale to the other side. Tying movement with breath, not rushing, seeing if maybe you can get each inhale and exhale to somewhat match in length. And the next time that your heels pass through center, inhaling at the center and exhaling your both of your feet apart like you're opening a book, inhaling them back together. Again, savoring each moment, movement, and breath. Exhaling, we lower and open. Inhale, we lift and close. And the next time that your feet come back together, pausing on an inhale, exhale, lowering both legs down to the mat, then lift that left foot up, point the toe, like you're trying to make some room in the low spine. Maybe your foot lifts up an inch, maybe more. But as soon as you feel any kind of pinch in that low back, lower that foot down a little bit. From here, we're going to move to half frog on the left side. So bending the knee, sliding that left knee up along the floor, letting your foot rest on your mat maybe because the floor is cold. And then settling into this grounding pose. This is a passive hip opener. So directing your breath to that left hip, encouraging it to let go. So open up, doing a little body scan, seeing where you can soften and release all effort. Today, we're going to focus on waiting. So not rushing through our poses today, not anticipating what's next, but rather just being. All you have to do in each pose is breathe. Noticing your mind, maybe drawing it back to the image that rose up for you from Psalm 130. Inhaling here, exhaling, sending that left foot back down to meet the right. We're going to switch sides. First, peel up that right foot, point the toe. Notice your belly pressing into the mat with each breath. Inhaling, exhaling, releasing that right foot down. Half frog on this side, bending the knee, sliding it up along the floor. Maybe that knee comes to hip level, maybe less, whatever your body is offering you today. Notice your shoulders, your head, your jaw, your foot, seeing where you can soften. Noticing your breath. Taking a rich inhale, exhaling that right foot down to meet the left. We're going to come into child's pose. So bring your palms underneath your shoulders. Press those hips back to your heels. Let's leave the knees together this time, coming to rest on the tops of your feet. Walk out those arms. We're going to flow from this child's pose to a cobra variation. So press into those palms. Inhale, lift your hips. Shoulders come to about over the wrists. Drop those hips just a little bit. And then exhale back to that child's pose. Again, we're going to tie this movement to our breath. So as we inhale, we lift. As we exhale, we lower. Only dropping into that low back as much as is comfortable for you. That doesn't create any kind of pain. We can make this a very gentle movement. The next time that you come to your child's pose, settling in, and take a few breaths there. Coming back to your breath, noticing your mind, noticing whether poses of stillness or poses of movement are easier for you to be still and to wait. One more breath here. And pressing down to those palms, lift your hips. We're going to come to our first down dog. So flip those toes, lift your hips. Bring any kind of movement that you like to start your down dog. Some people pedal their feet, bending their knees one at a time. You can also lift your feet at the same time, or even kind of shift your weight side to side. Eventually, we want to press into strong hands and feet. Imagine each limb is a tent pole. Your hips are the top of that tent, so we're lifting the hips towards the ceiling. bringing our belly buttons a little closer to our knees and letting our heads be heavy. Then melting into the mat. So all of our forces are pressed into the mat, allowing our body to be at rest. Take a deep cleansing breath. Look up to your hands. Walk, step, or hop up to a forward fold. Maybe your knees are bent here, or maybe you come to a high table if you don't practice forward fold. Exhaling. Inhaling, coming up halfway to high table. Exhale, fold. Inhale, actively rise. Squeeze your glutes and core. Protect that low back. Take up lots of space. Exhale. Hands heart center. Let's place those thumbs at heart center. Roll your shoulder blades back and down. Close your eyes. Coming into standing prayer. Wiggle those toes so that you're just pressing the balls of the feet and the heels into the mat. Let's lift those kneecaps, engaging the large muscle groups of the legs. Tuck the tailbone as you draw navel to spine. Lift heart center, chin and forehead slightly growing along through the whole body. Take a rich inhale. Exhale, soften face, shoulders, and whole body down into the mat. Notice your mind. Notice your breath. Take a rich inhale. Let's open our mouths for a nice, noisy exhale. Flutter your eyes open. We're going to do 3 rounds of half sun salutations. Inhale, take up lots of space. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, actively rise. Exhale, and start center. 2 more. Inhale, rise. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, and start center. Inhale, rise, maybe adding a back bend this time. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, and start center. We're going to keep moving. Inhale, rise. Exhale, fold. Releasing your hands to the mat, step the left foot back, low lunge. Let's drop the left knee down. Want to land the feet, the distance that allows this right knee to be directly on top of that heel. So play around with it. Always take your time building these poses. Come to the top of your left foot, and then you can leave your hands on blocks, knee, heart center, anywhere you choose to overhead. I'm going to do a heart opening pose. Lift those right toes and then place them back down so that you're just pressing into the heel and the ball of the foot. Open up that left hip as you lengthen the front of the body. You can set your gaze on something not moving. We are going to hold this for a few breaths, focusing on waiting today, not rushing to the next thing. So make yourself comfortable. Set your gaze or close your eyes. Just come to your breath. With each inhale, seeing if you can grow long in the spine. With each exhale, softening the body. Noticing your mind. One more breath. Bringing hands to prayer if they're not already there. We're going to add a twist. A simple twist would be to place your hands on your thigh, just turn into that thigh. Or you can do a prayer twist, hinging forward, leading with your heart and your chin. Bring your left elbow to your right knee. Pressing those palms together gives you some leverage. Keeping that right knee over the heel. Keep breathing into this resisted belly breathing. Come back to center. Inhale. Exhale. Let's release these hands down. We're going to come to a half split. So what we'll do, for me, I always have to move this foot forward a little bit. So listen to your body. But we're going to walk these hands back towards our hips so that we can straighten this leg. Then look to the front of the room. Like you want your heart to be as parallel to the front of the room as you can to flatten out that low back. And then begin to hinge forward. This is a great pose for blocks, which I have. If you want one, give me a wave. And so what we're doing is we're drawing straight back through those hips, flexing that right foot. Mhm. Imagining your right leg's like a rubber band. So like your finger would pinch a rubber band to the table, that's what your right heel is. And your right hip is that rubber band stretching and then finding length. Want to keep rotating that heart towards our foot, and even as we're allowing the head to be heavy, directing all your breath to that right leg and hip. Noticing that fire. And you wait patiently in the heat. All you have to do is breathe. Take 2 more rounds of breath. We're going to walk our hands forward so that we can flatten this right foot. Place your hands on the mat. We're going to come to table. So see if you can get this right knee back underneath you. Then come to a nice strong table. 4 table legs pressing into the mat, a long spine. So we're staring at the space between our fingers, flattening out the back of our neck, maybe even retracting our chin a little bit to do that, stretching the crown of the head towards the front of the room. Once we find that strong table, we're going to flow through some cat and cow. So inhale, lift your chin, lift your hips, feel that bowl in your back with breath. Exhale, arch your back, tucking your tailbone and chin like you're wringing out a towel. Squeeze out all that breath. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat. If your body wants to hang out in one or the other, let your body be your guide. Maybe close your eyes if you can. There's nothing you really need to see here. And coming back to a tabletop, flip those toes, coming into down dog, lift those hips. Coming to your down dog for a few rounds of breath. Again, noticing, is it easier for you to be still in the movement or in these more static poses? Taking one more breath. Looking up to your hands, stepping your left foot up and in between. This time for a low lunge on this side. Drop that right knee down, come to the top of the right foot. Set yourself up so that left heel is directly underneath the left knee. And then choose a hand position that works for you today. I did the cactus arms on the other side. If your arms are tired from that, maybe do a different pose. If you feel like your balance is challenged, set your gaze, let everything else disappear. Or if you can, close your eyes. Maybe drawing your mind back to your intention or object of your practice, holding it in your mind and just breathing. 2 more breaths. Bringing hands to prayer, adding that twist. Again, you can place your hands on your left thigh, staying upright, just turning in, or leading with your heart and chin, hinging forward, and bring your right elbow to your left knee. One more breath. Coming back to center, growing tall. And exhaling your hands down. Coming to half split on this side. We're going to walk our hands back to underneath our shoulders, straightening that left leg. Flexing that left foot, having those blocks if needed underneath the shoulders. There's 3 different heights to the blocks. So choose low, medium, or high. Then let's look at the front of the room, leading with our chin and heart, hinging our bodies forward, and then softening the head so that low back stays nice and long. Noticing your breath, noticing your mind, noticing your body. 2 more breaths. Walking your hands forward, releasing that left foot down. We're going to flip the right foot, step up to a forward fold. Let's add some movement here to your fold. Hold some opposite elbows. Let's start with showing some love to the head, gently nodding the head, yes. Stilling the head, gently shaking it, no. Stilling the head, drawing an arc around your legs with your elbow, so rotating 180 degrees. And stilling the body. We're going to come to a high table, so release those arms, come up halfway. For a couple breaths here, let's place our hands on our thighs and roll our shoulder blades back and together. Then stare at the space just under your nose so you can flatten out the back of your neck and tip those hips forward. We want to be as parallel to the floor as we can with that upper body. One more inhale, growing long through the whole spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, let's actively rise. Take up lots of space. And exhale, sending your hands down and through, opening the palms to the front of the room, coming into mountain pose, closing your eyes, finding that centering current of energy from the feet to the crown of the head, either holding in your mind's eye the object of your practice or maybe picturing yourself standing on a mountaintop, strong and peaceful. Noticing your breath. Take a deep cleansing breath. And fluttering your eyes open, coming into goddess pose. Step those feet a little bit wider than your hips, toes pointed out. We're going to bring those arms back to our cactus arms, squeezing the shoulder blades together, and then dropping into our imaginary stool. Tuck the tailbone and lift your heart. This is a very heat-producing pose. Again, seeing if you can stay in the center of it. More and more breath. And exhale, folding, straightening the legs. Let's bring the feet parallel for a wider leg forward fold. We're going to leave our right hand on the mat directly under our face, opening left hand to the side wall, reaching up and open, adding a twist. Switching sides, left hand down, right hand up. Exhaling, right hand down. And either, if you practice yogi squat, now's a good time for yogi squat, turning those heels back in a little bit, dropping onto your imaginary stool here. If you do not practice yogi squat, you can just make your way up to mountain pose one more time. So you choose which pose works for you. In both, tucking the tailbone, growing long in the spine, recentering. Where can you soften? Noticing your breath. Taking one more cleansing breath. Releasing the hands if you're in yogi squat. Pressing up to straight legs. Let's inchworm these feet together. We're all going to meet in standing prayer. If you're in mountain pose, you can begin to journey there. If you're joining me in yogi squat, slowly roll those fingers up your legs. When you get to the top, lifting your chin, taking up lots of space, and coming to that standing prayer. Before we do a balance pose, harnessing the mind if it's wandered, noticing the breath, and grounding down the body through both feet. We're going to do a forward bending balance pose today. So leaving your hands at prayer, we're going to bring a little bend to the left foot, really rooted down, like melting that right foot so it's one with the mat, not gripping, just like glued to the mat. Then tip your heart forward a little bit and just step that left foot back so you're resting on your big toe of your left foot, bringing a little micro bend to this right knee. Pick a spot on the floor right in front of you, and maybe you just lift that, excuse me, toe off the floor slightly, or you tap it down. Maybe you just gently rest it, and that's balance work for you. This is a practice of concentration, not of doing something hard. So find that point between too easy, which is distracting, and too hard, which is distracting. Maybe you lift it further and begin to tip your body forward, coming into a warrior three. Find your expression of this pose and breathe. The more you focus on that dot and breathe, the more you will find balance. And whenever you're done, graciously coming out, shaking out the feet, arms, coming back to that standing prayer. Excuse me. And in your standing prayer, noticing what that did for your mind and letting that fade, making peace to begin again. Because balance takes a lot of practice, both in life and on our mat. Shift our weight to our left foot, hands to heart center, a little bit of a bend in the right knee. Pick your spot to stare at, and then step that right foot back to your big toe, just about a foot or two behind you, and journey to your expression of this warrior three variation on this side. Taking one more breath, coming out. Again, ending with standing prayer, noticing if that stilled the mind or frustrated the mind, something different, and letting that fade. Letting your eyes open, let's come down to our mats as we begin to wind down. We'll come all the way to our backs today. Hugging your knees to your chest. Take any kind of organic movement that feels right for you. maybe rolling from side to side or forward and back, maybe grabbing hold of your feet, taking happy baby, and coming to the center. We're going to release our feet to the mat, preparing for bridge pose. So your heels are underneath your knees. Your arms are alongside your body. If you want to do supported bridge, have a block handy. And we're going to press into those feet and lift using our thighs and glutes to lift our hips up. So the weight shifts into your shoulders, but keeps out of your neck. Notice the shift of pressure here as heart is above head, flushing our minds with the oxygen of our practice for Shavasana. Take deep, meaningful breaths. One more inhale, lifting as much as you can. Exhale slowly and intentionally release your spine one vertebrae at a time back to the mat. Shifting your hips slightly to the left, so lifting them and moving them an inch or so over. You can bring your arms to goalpost arms. We're going to allow our knees to fall to the right. If this feels like too much, you can place a block under those knees. If not enough, you can cross the lower leg on top of the upper leg. Staying gazing at the ceiling or look over that left shoulder. Bring your chin back to center, knees and hips back to center. We're going to take the same thing on the opposite side. So shift your hips a little bit to the right. Allow your knees to fall left. Again, you can place a block on your knees or cross the lower knee on top of your right leg. You can turn your head to the right if you want to take the fullest expression. And let's bring our chins back to center, knees back to center, hips back to center. And take any poses that feel right for you at this time. Maybe you hug your knees in one more time. Take another expression that you would have liked to have done today, maybe that we didn't do, or take a full body stretch with me, extending legs, hands overhead, pointing the toes, lengthening the whole body, then flexing the feet, lengthening the back of the body. And then settling into a comfortable pose for you for Shavasana, maybe layering on some clothing. We take the last few minutes of practice to slow down, being still is as much a practice as movement. So, first, inviting your mind to stay fully present on your mat. An important part of waiting is staying in the moment, not looking ahead, not looking behind, allowing ourselves to just be. Next, inviting your bodies to be still as the impulse comes to fidget or move, seeing if you can let it pass by. Maybe just anchoring your mind in your breath or meditating on the object of your practice. Psalm 130. I wait for the Lord. My whole being waits. In his word, I put my hope. I wait for the Lord. More than the watchman waits for the morning, more than watchmen wait for the morning. I hope in the Lord, for with the Lord is unfailing love. Bringing small movements back to your body. Maybe first just wiggling fingers or toes or simply swallowing. Maybe taking another moment for yourself, rolling to one side and taking all the time you need to make it to a seated position with your eyes closed. Once you arrive, noticing one thing you discovered on your mat today. One thing you would like to take with you into your day, and holding it in your mind for a brief time of meditation or prayer. Fluttering eyes open, bringing hands to heart center. Thank you for joining me in this practice today. Namaste. Thank you, my friend. Good to see you. Mm-hmm. You want some help with it? Yeah, stand half split pose. Let me turn this off because it was recording me. I don't know.